So this is the third lecture in the series of anthropology orientation sessions. The first session, what I have done, I have just mentioned with you what is anthropology and good things about anthropology. These are few ideas we spoke in the first session. In yesterday's session, we have what we have done is we tried to see the mandate of the syllabus, chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. In that video, I said these three chapters, chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, is actually not the original anthropology, but these three chapters are like gateway to anthropology. Means it is giving us an understanding of what anthropology would be, scope of anthropology, relevance of anthropology. So that should be the general mandate. Having said that, today's session, what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce you guys to evolutionary anthropology. This evolutionary anthropology is covered in, according to our syllabus, paper 1, chapter 1.4, chapter 1.5, and chapter 1.6. And there is also one small topic in paper 2. As part of chapter 1.1, which also comes under the mandate of evolutionary anthropology, right? So today we will try to have a brief overview of chapter 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. I'll not go into what is mentioned in this particular chapter 1.1 in paper 2 because it is just an extension of what we discuss in 1.5 and 1.6. So it has nothing specific. It's just an extension of what we actually do in paper 1. I know for some students who are not part of biology or who does not have biology in their class 11, class 12, but we all have studied till class 10 little bit of biology, right? Evolution is not a term which is unfamiliar. So if I can quickly share this image, just a moment. As I have already mentioned, all the regular classes will happen continuously in the form of images and image based PDF. So that is how we generally do our classes. I just want to show you guys one simple image. I think you can see this image. Yes, if you can see this image, we humans, we are at this particular point of evolution. It is believed, or it is now largely understood, that entire life on the planet started with a single cell, and we all have evolved. We all have evolved from this particular stage to this particular stage. Okay, so we all have evolved. I'm sure most of you would have watched this very popular movie called as Dinosaurs. What happened to dinosaurs? Right now, we don't have any dinosaurs, isn't it? All the dinosaurs have become extinct. But at some point of time in the evolution, at some point of time, maybe around some 200 million years ago, dinosaurs have become extinct. And it is believed that the first life on the planet, the first life on the planet started as a single celled organism. Cell is the fundamental unit of any body. Human body is made up of multiple cells. It all started with one single cell, and it has come to the present form, isn't it? This particular human form, which is the most complex structure, and it also has the most complex functions, and it also has the most complex functions, isn't it? I'm sure all of you must have heard about this Dashawataras. In our Hindu mythology, we have Dashawataras, right? So even in our Indian culture, it is believed that Dashawataras are in a way reminding us that we all have evolved. We all have started at some point of time, and we have evolved to the present form of humans, which has the highest structural and functional complexity, isn't it? We are structurally, means the structure of the body. Functionally, the kind of functions which a human can do is so complex. There are many functions a human can do, a dog cannot do. There are certain structural aspects of a human which are different from a dog or a cat or a pig, for that matter, any other life form. The whole point I am trying to convince upon you guys is we have evolved. The entire existence on this planet started as a single life form, and it has evolved into the present forms. And some among them also has evolved into humans. Again, we do not go into so much depth about what exactly is evolution, because the mandate of our syllabus is evolutionary anthropology, but not evolution as such. We read it in an anthropological context, or we read it in an anthropological scenario. So again, don't do so much research on this. For anthropological perspective, this much of basic information is more than sufficient. Now in the chapter 1.4, if you can see, they have given 3 subtopics like biological factors and cultural factors in human evolution, and they also have given something called as theories of organic evolution. In theories of organic evolution, they have given it as pre-Darwinian, Darwinian, post-Darwinian. I'll just clarify to you what it is. And another simple topic called as some terms and concepts of evolutionary biology, and they have given some terms and they have given some concepts related to evolutionary biology. Just 3 subtopics. And you know what? Surprisingly, most of the students feel that 1.4 is one of the toughest topics. According to me, it is one of the easiest topics, but somehow students feel that 1.4 is the toughest topics. Let us see, as I take you through an aerial view of these 3 chapters, if this particular component of anthropology syllabus, chapter 1.4, which most of the aspirants, even senior aspirants, feel it as difficult, whether you will feel it difficult or not, right? And as I already mentioned, our regular sessions will happen through lots of illustrations, lots of diagrams, and lots of all these things. I'm saying this to repeatedly just to give you guys a confidence that regular classes will be not just about writing things on the board, which is an outdated style. because we are all just in the beginning sessions, I'm just taking it slow. I'm trying to explain things on the board, right? So coming to the first component, can you please confirm what was the last thing you heard from me? Right. Okay. Right. Stay assured, I'll be discussing everything once again. It's just a 5 minute of lecture. What you have missed, I'm doing it again. Just be a little patient. So, in our syllabus, as part of chapter 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6, and paper 2, chapter 1.1, what UPSC has given is Evolutionary Anthropology. I believe I was heard till that point, and I have just started talking to you about what exactly is evolution. From there, I believe I wasn't audible. So, yeah, I'll take you through the further component from that point. Right. In our syllabus, as part of chapter 1.4, generally people consider it as difficult. It is not as difficult as we think. Say, for instance, they have given 3 components as part of chapter 1.4. Biological and cultural factors. Biological and cultural factors. Biological and cultural factors impacting human evolution. Biological and cultural factors impacting human evolution. Then, after talking about biological and cultural factors impacting human evolution, they have given as part of chapter 1.4 theories of organic evolution. And apart from talking about theories of organic evolution, what else they have given is they have given some terms and concepts related to evolutionary biology. Terms and concepts related to evolutionary biology. Terms and concepts related to evolutionary biology. Now let us see. What are these biological factors and what are the cultural factors that would contribute to human evolution? As I have already mentioned, evolution in this case, what we would be talking is evolution of the physical characteristics. Evolution of physical characteristics. Evolution of physical characteristics. I'll make it more clear for you what exactly is this physical characteristics by narrating a small story about which I'll be discussing with much more clarity in regular class. But for now, pay some attention. To start with, we humans, we do not have anything like fire. Listen to this story, try to understand as much as you can, because the purpose of narrating this or the purpose of saying this story is to just tell you that this is what you can expect in chapter 1.4. I'm not expecting you that you should actually understand in totality what I'm discussing with you right now. Understand as much as you can. When I illustrate the same through many diagrams and many flow charts, you will understand it with much more ease. For now, just listen. At some point of time in the course of evolution, we humans have invented fire. You know fire, right? We do not know how to produce fire. At some point of time, we humans, as part of our cultural evolution, as our culture is evolving, we have known, we humans have got to know how to ignite or how to develop fire. Once we have learned this art of developing fire, you know what happened? Humans started to cook food. Humans started to cook food. Now, when we have started to cook food, how a cooked food will be? A cooked food is easy to eat, isn't it? When compared to a raw food, cooked food is easy to eat. Cooked food is easy to eat when compared to raw food. We all know that. Now tell me, why do buffaloes or cows have such a big jaw? You know, jaw. Jaw means something to chew, isn't it? They have such a big jaw, right? Cows and buffaloes. Because they eat lot of raw food. They eat lot of raw food like grass, which is difficult to chew. They have such a long jaw. We humans, as we have learned the art of cooking food, we can easily chew our food. So we don't need such a long jaw. We don't need such a bulk face, isn't it? Buffaloes, cows have such a bulk face. I'll show you those diagrams in regular classes. But we don't need it, right? We don't need it. Then what happened? Gradually, as humans started eating more and more and more of cooked food, to start with, our faces also used to be like that of a monkey face, which is protruded forward. But because we are eating lot and lot of cooked food, we don't need such a bulk jaw. The size of the jaw got reduced. As the size of the jaw got reduced, our face also has got reduced. Interestingly, understand as much as you can, in the whole head of us, previously, what used to occupy the major space? Our jaw used to occupy the major space. Our means in the beginning days of evolution, our jaw used to occupy a lot of space. But as the size of the jaw got reduced in the whole head, the space available for the brain has increased, and this would have led to, as there is more space, the size of the brain also would have got increased. As there is more space, the size of the brain would have got increased. As the size of the brain has got gradually increased, maybe we started to become more and more intelligent. I'll stop there. I'll not go further deeper. We will do it in the regular class. Now, size of the head is increasing over the time. Over millions of years, size of the head is increasing, which means now humans and their babies humans and their babies are born with a bigger sized heads. As they are born with a bigger sized heads, parallelly, when this is happening, another development also is happening. What is that another development happening? Previously, our ancestors, they used to walk on four legs, and gradually from four legs we have started walking to two legs. Walking with two legs. Now we are walking with two legs. And size of the brain has increased. And now it has become difficult to deliver the baby. It has become difficult because the size of the brain has increased. The delivery of the baby has become difficult. So what nature has done to us? We started delivering baby early. We humans started delivering baby early. As the baby is getting delivered early, you guys know, right? We all humans, we have a tendency to care for the baby for the first 1 year or the first 2 year or 3 years. Baby cannot survive on its own. Baby has to be nursed by a mother. Because baby cannot take care of itself, right? But you compare to other animals, in case of other animals, even if mother does not nurse the baby, baby can take care of itself. Most of the animals, even if mother abandons the baby soon after the birth, the baby can survive. That's not the case with humans. In case of humans, if the mother abandons the baby would die. So now the mother has to take care of the baby. Mother cannot take care of the baby on its own, and the mother has to depend on somebody for it. And that somebody is father, a man or a male who is more reliable and who will get food for the mother and the baby. So now I'll summarize the whole story. Look, I am just talking a very small plot in the whole story just to convince you how interesting this particular part of the syllabus is. It's very much possible that you may not get a bigger picture of what I am talking, but try to understand as much as you can, and I'm sure it would be still exciting. Let's say I just randomly said we have invented fire. As we have invented fire, we started eating more and more of cooked food. We started eating less and less of raw food. As we don't need to eat raw food, the size of the jaw decreased. As the size of the jaw decreased, the space available in the brain has increased. The space available in the head has increased. As the space available in the head has increased, the size of the brain has increased. As the size of the brain has increased, and babies might have been born with a bigger heads. Babies are now born with bigger heads. So at the same time, another change is happening. Humans have become erect. We started walking on two legs. As we started walking on two legs, other structural changes have happened, like our pelvis has become narrow, our hip bone has become narrow. I'm not showing that image now, or I'm not illustrating that now, but just try to understand the point I'm trying to say. And it has become difficult to deliver the baby. So we humans started delivering the baby early. As we have started delivering the baby early, the baby is dependent on the mother for its survival. And the mother who has freshly delivered the baby can't take care of the baby on its own. But the mother has to depend on a male. So mother need a male to take care of her food and her baby's food. So like this, if you see one change called as humans inventing fire is part of our culture. This having impact on the size of the jaw, size of the brain is our physical characteristics. Did you see? Cultural characteristic is having impact on the physical characteristic. Once again, this physical characteristics, all this has, if you follow this part of the story, it has culminated as mother depending on a male called as father. It lead to another cultural entity called as female. So like this, biological factors, cultural factors, all these come together, and all these are leading to the whole process of evolution. A cultural factor called as fire, a cultural factor called as mother, father, mother depending on the father, or something like increase in the size of the brain. And this is how we study evolutionary anthropology. This is how we study evolutionary anthropology, right? I know, because I have not given you, I've just shown you a small part of the discussion. Don't worry, Satish, PDFs and all will be shared in regular sessions. Now just pay attention to what we are talking in the class, right? So this is the original demand of the topic: biological and cultural factors determining evolution. Then the same thing is explained to certain theories. Sure, some of you would have already heard about the name called as Charles Darwin. Very popular for his book Survival of the Fittest is the term which you guys must have already heard. Origin of Species is one very popular book of Charles Darwin. Even layman reads, not just student from biology background, but even layman is encouraged to read this book called as Origin of Species. Entire world ridiculed Charles Darwin. When Charles Darwin has come out and said Humans are not created by gods. Humans are not created by gods. Humans have evolved. Humans have evolved. This has shook the whole world. This one idea, this one scientific idea has shook the whole world. Entire religious scholars, every of them ridiculed. People said, no, according to Bible, God has created the world. Veda said God has created the world. Even Quran has said it is the God who has created the world. And this one man has come out in open and said that nobody created this world. Nobody has created the human or human existence. Humans have just evolved through the time. And most likely humans have evolved directly from monkeys. So people mocked him, people ridiculed him, and in the European newspapers at that point of time, people made many caricatures or cartoons ridiculing Charles Darwin, mocking Charles Darwin, undermining him, humiliating him. People even went to the extent of assaulting him in certain contexts. But fast forward to present times, now evolution is widely accepted. Now evolution is widely accepted. Today we all believe that evolution has happened, and there are many scientific theories, though they are not mandate of our anthropology syllabus, but now we have plenty of scientific evidences to prove. We have plenty of scientific evidences to prove that evolution has happened. A simple fact, let's say if we examine a skeleton which is excavated and the skeleton is of 3000 years old, and if I compare that particular skeleton to the present day skeleton, definitely it would have been experienced some changes, isn't it? I'm sure all of you would have watched this Kalki movie's trailer. If you carefully watch that movie's trailer, in that movie, Ashwathama character portrayed by Amitabh Bachchan, and that particular character is shown to be 12 feet tall. He's like 12 feet tall. And it is believed that during the times of Mahabharata, people were tall. Again, it's a fiction and it's a mythology. I'm not endorsing the veracity of that, but generally it is believed that at that point of time people were tall. Whether people were really tall at that point of time or not is a debate. Let's not get into that. But I just want to convince upon you guys that people in the past were exactly not the same as the people in the present. People in the past were exactly not the same as the people in the present. Means some physical changes have happened in us. Some physical changes have happened in us, and for the first time this is proven to the world through certain theories by somebody called as Charles Darwin. And that is the reason why Darwin's theory of evolution is embedded or is included as part of our UPSC syllabus. Okay, syllabus also includes Darwinian theory of evolution. Syllabus also include, there are some people even before Darwin, there are some people who tried to mention that evolution has occurred. We will also study in little bit detail about them, but we will study more about what Darwin has come out in open and what Darwin proudly proclaimed as his theories. And we also study beyond Darwin. Yes, Darwin has said certain things like survival of the fittest. Darwin has made certain statements like survival of the fittest means there is a nature and the nature would select the fittest species. Nature would select the fittest species. Survival of the fittest means, let's say if there are 100 organisms, let's say if there are 100 organisms of one particular type or one particular species, nature would select the best of them and nature would weed out the worst of them. Just like UPSC is trying to pick the best of them and try to make them civil servants, survival of the fittest, best people will be selected by the nature, not so best will be eliminated by the nature, is an idea put forward by Darwin's theory of organic evolution. And it's not the only concept, there are many such concepts as part of the Darwin's theory of evolution, which we would be seeing as part of our regular sessions. And that would be mandate of this particular topic, theories of organic evolution, which is component B of chapter 1.4 after understanding the biological and cultural factors in human evolution. Then you have another small component called as terms and concepts in evolutionary biology. This is a very simple topic. They have given some 4-5 small concepts. It's an easy thing, that these are just some nature of proposals, some concepts that also are embedded as part of our discussion of chapter 1.4. Then after chapter 1.4, after chapter 1.4, after chapter 1.4, we also have chapter 1.5. We also have chapter 1.5. Chapter 1.5 is another very interesting topic, and though it appears to be unfamiliar, but when we discuss it through all these images, I'm pretty sure you will find it very interesting. Chapter 1.5 also you will find it very interesting. And if you see carefully, chapter 1.5, what they have given is primates. What they have given is primates. Primates. Even we are primates, though it's not technically correct. In common man's language, primates is nothing but we are also monkeys. We belong to the same group. When there is an attempt to classify all the animals on the planet, classify means put into categories. When people have tried to put into categories or try to classify all the organisms living on the planet, you know what they have done? They have not put us separately. They have not put us, or they have not put humans separately. What they have done is they have put us, or they have put humans in the same category called as primates. We are made to put just along with primates or monkeys. We are made to put just alongside the primates or monkeys. If I have not, I think I have shared the screen with you, and you can see it now. Look, we are not kept separately. We are just put along with primates. And if you see the chapters which they have included in this topic, like evolutionary trend and primate taxonomy, they just want to convince us that yes, when you try to classify all the animals, taxonomy is a word, technical word. We use it for classification. So we are put alongside the primates. Or we are just considered as a part of the primates. Then also there is another topic included called as primate adaptations. Then another topic called as primate behavior. Then you have a topic like living major primates and comparative anatomy and skeletal changes due to erect posture and its implications. Very simple, just pay attention. Primate adaptations. Adaptation is a word. It's a very simple word. Adaptation is a very simple word. Adapt. To adapt means to get used to. Let's say you guys want to prepare for civil services examination and you come to Ashok Nagar, Gandhi Nagar. Then what you would try to do? You would try to adapt to Ashok Nagar, Gandhi Nagar conditions, right? So just like that, in the course of evolution, every organism tries to adapt to the environment. Every organism tries to adapt to its environment. Just like this, listen very carefully and try to understand again as much as you can, because in the regular sessions we go in much more detail and analytical depth. Certain changes have happened in the environment. Certain changes have happened in the environment, and because of the changes that have happened in the environment, some animals have adapted to arboreal living. Arboreal living means tree living. Some animals have adapted to arboreal living or tree living in the course of evolution. So in this particular chapter called as primate adaptations, we will try to see how come some organism called as monkeys got adapted to tree living, and how come from that tree living or arboreal monkeys again and another organism which walks on two legs, bipedal, we use the term bipedal, an organism which walks on two legs, that is human, has evolved. So primate adaptation, as I am saying, we will try to understand what factors led to this so-called monkey adapting to so-called lifestyle living on a tree, and we will also see what further led to this so-called monkeys living on the tree further started walking with two legs. It might appear a little bit dry, but when we discuss with specific environmental conditions that has led to these kind of adaptation, this is another very, very interesting topic, trust me. Another small topic called as primate behavior. This again is a very interesting idea. So what is this primate behavior? The name itself is suggestive. If you have very closely observed monkeys, and if you have very closely observed, let's say, a buffalo or a goat or a sheep, it's very easy for us to appreciate the fact that we have more resemblances to a monkey than we have resemblances to a goat or a sheep or a buffalo or a cat or a dog for that matter. Did you ever think why we have more similarities to a monkey? Isn't it? Once in a while, a monkey also can walk on two legs, if you have observed. Like this, and even the shape of the face. Monkeys have more similar shape of the face like that of humans when compared to buffaloes or cats. So in that way, just by observing some behavioral components, we can say that there must be something which is responsible for the common behavioral patterns of monkeys and humans. And you know the reason? Very simple. We share more number of genes with monkeys than we share the genes with buffaloes. Means genetically we are closer to monkeys. Means we have more number of similar genes like monkeys. So that is what we will be discussing under primate behavior. The reason why this chapter is included is to prove the point that we have a behavioral pattern closer to monkey than some buffalo, goat or sheep or dog, and they list out certain behavioral characters, and we will try to see those behavioral characters, and we will try to convince ourselves that, oh, it seems there is some commonality between monkeys and humans. So that is the reason they have given this. This actually might sound not so interesting, but when we discuss with all those examples like sexuality or dominance behavior, territoriality, we have certain concepts, isn't it? Monkeys have a tendency to claim their space. If they identify something as their space, they'll go to any extent to claim that space. Some people believe that we have got that behavior of claiming that particular space is ours. We might have got inspired from monkeys. So that is what they have given in the syllabus. Then these chapters like tertiary and quaternary fossil primates and living major primates, it's just part of the primate taxonomy. As part of that, we will be studying about some primates. We will be studying about some primates like other monkeys, monkeys other than humans. Monkeys other than humans we will be studying. It's not actually very important for exam, but still we will study it with reasonable amount of depth, and we will try to look upon other type of monkeys. And people consider chapter 1.5 as one of the toughest, but again I feel it easiest because I have a tendency to discuss this even so-called not so interesting. Among all the chapters in anthropology, people feel this as little bit difficult or this as a little bit, not so familiar, or but still when we discuss it with so many images, trust me, even this so-called tough or unfamiliar topic will seem very interesting for you. That's my assurance. Then one small thing, comparative anatomy of man and apes. Comparative anatomy of man and apes. Same purpose. Again, the purpose is same. Anatomy is nothing but, in layman's terms, to understand anatomy is the body structure. The body structure. Very simple. We resemble monkeys more than we resemble a cat or a dog or a buffalo or a sheep, right? And the underlying skeleton or the underlying anatomy of a monkey is more similar to that of humans. And even among monkeys, some of them, like apes, we call them gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, they have more similarities. They have more similarities. Gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans. So we will try to see, and again the whole point is establishing the same idea that primates, we are just part of the primates, and in the course of evolution we would have evolved from one of these monkeys only. We are part of them and we would have evolved from some among them. Whether it is studying of the primate behavior, whether it is studying of the primate taxonomy, and whether it is studying of the comparison of the anatomy of other apes. Apes are called as, within monkeys, higher level monkeys, we call them as apes. And that apes like gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, they look closer to humans. Even that idea also we are studying just to prove the point that we have evolved from monkeys. So this whole chapter is to convince us that we are just one among them and we have just evolved from them. Then another small topic to end this in this chapter 1.5, skeletal changes due to erect posture and its implications. As I've already said skeletal changes. Skeleton means what? Body, right? Skeleton means the bony part of the body, we call it skeleton. As we have become erect, erect means ability to stand straight. As we have become erect, certain changes have happened in our body, and because of those changes which have happened in our body, because humans have moved from, let's say if you can see here, these organisms are actually walking on 4 legs. From 4 legs, as our humans, what we have done is we started walking on 2 legs. So we started a bipedal walking. So this process of bipedal walking has led to some interesting changes in us, and we will understand and try to understand those changes which have happened in our body because of humans walking from 4 legs to 2 legs. So largely this is the mandate of so-called one of the toughest topics of among all the topics of anthropology, but I feel even this is not difficult when you try to understand it in the context it is supposed to be understood, right? So actually 8 o'clock I have another session, so I'm not continuing discussing about chapter 1.6. Tomorrow's session I'll quickly finish off in 10 minutes. I'll introduce you to the topic of chapter 1.6. Then I'll go to another component of anthropology, right? So in today's session, what we have discussed is evolutionary anthropology, and as part of evolutionary anthropology, I said we have 3 chapters, chapter 1.4, 1.5 and 1.6, and I have introduced you guys to 2 chapters, chapter 1.4 and 1.5 by mentioning each of these components of the syllabus. Okay, so I'll stop my session for today. Thank you.